on this computer. Okay. So, same deal. Highly recommend getting those notebooks out, doing some note taking, because yeah, this stuff, it helps to have examples. It really does. Okay, this is what we have due this week. Now, I encountered an error on Moodle where I tried to go to week 12 and nothing was there. So I don't know if anybody else saw that. Oh, Leanna, that's awesome. Very cool. Okay, you saw it, Beth? Okay, that's good. So maybe it was my slow, leggy internet. That could have been. But either way, this is what is due this week. There's a trig ratios quiz and a solving right triangles quiz. 2 items, guys. No big deal, right? So that means we can go through it, we can do it well, and then we can probably have time to go back and correct anything that you got a low score on if you did. Remember, if you did the writing assignment and you didn't do that well, or if you did a previous assignment, you can redo all of that and then just submit your new score. And if the number of attempts says that it won't let you, just let me know and I'll fix it, because I know how to do that. Yes, Beth. Hello. Question, my dear. Hi, Casey.
I want you to put this on my coaster. It can be a butterfly tail cat.
She's gonna have a cat. Oh, that's okay. We're waiting for Beth's question, and my daughter is turning into a butterfly cat. See, she's gonna, oh, turn around. There we go. Now she has a tail. Oh, great question. I have that in the lesson today. So I'm so glad that you asked that, Beth. I actually have a slide showing that, because you do have to be in degree mode, because if you're in radian mode, your answers will be different. So we'll talk about that. Very cool. All right. So this is what is due for this week. Okay, so today we're going to go through trig ratios. Yeah, and Liana will show that. We'll show that. But you're right, that's one of the places to find it. So, okay. So today we're going to go through trig ratios, and we're going to use them to solve for triangles. Okay. Speaking of the question, yeah. Okay, so we want to make sure that, and I think that's an old picture of Desmos. I can show the new one. Yeah, so when you are in any of the online calculators, or if you have your calculator, if you use a separate one, you want to make sure that you are in degree mode, because, oh, are you showing me your notes, Liana? Very good. Excellent. Good stuff. It's very good stuff. Because if you are in radian mode, that measures something different. So you remember how with circles we talked about how arc length measures the fraction of the circle's circumference instead of like in degrees. So one thing is, if we have this circle, this might be like a 45-degree angle, but the arc length is going to be different. It's going to be a fraction with pi next to it, because it's a part of the circle's circumference. Radian mode is just like that. So we want to work with degree mode. We're not doing radians today. So I don't know if we do radians in geometry. I think we do, but I'm not sure. Oh, you're a pretty singer, but can you go over there? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted her song. I'm sorry, babes. Okay, so make sure wherever you find it that you are in degree mode. I know for Desmos, so I'll show you Desmos. I'm gonna get out of the full screen share. I have Desmos pulled up. Oh, wait. For Desmos, it's real easy. If you do the scientific calculator, which is all you need, you just want to make sure degree mode is hit right here. If you click on that, it slides over to radians. So make sure it shows degree right there. Degree. And this is in the Desmos calculator, the scientific mode. And you see you got tangent, cosine, sine, all of that stuff here. So, okay, degree mode. That is your friend. Great question, Beth. Does that answer your question? Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, so trigonometry is a fancy term that is used for the functions that find the missing sides and angles of a triangle. These are the trig functions. This is your note-taking money slide right here. So when we have a right triangle, and again, this is only for right triangles, there will always be an angle that you focus on. We call this angle, usually it's theta. Back one slide. This one? This one, Liana? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Sorry, if I go too fast, just let me know. I am Speedy McNote-taker today. You guys want to see what I found? I'm so excited. I used to watch Rainbow Bright when I was a little girl, and I found a snow globe of Rainbow Bright. I'm so excited. Isn't it cool? Rainbow Bright. My dad would always say the weirdest thing. I don't even know, but it gets stuck in my head. He would go, Rainbow Bright, she farts when you cook her. That's what he says. But like, what? The farting thing is gross, but cook her? Cook? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, my dad is such a weirdo, and he'll still say it now. If I show him, he'll be like, ah, Rainbow Bright, she farts when you cook her. Ugh. Gross, Dad. He's nasty. All right, Liana, you have that slide now? Allie, I love that you changed to Nala Lover. I'd be a Nala Lover. She's so cute. My daughter is like yelling and screaming into her little microphone. All right. So these are our 6 trig functions. These are used to find the missing sides of a triangle. It is equally important, what I would do before you even get to the trig functions is find your angle of focus. So it could be this angle, it could have you focus on this angle. It depends on your angle. That's where you set up your trig functions. You always need that angle. And what I would do when you have a right triangle, I would first label which side is the opposite side. So here's our angle of focus. So the angle across from it is our opposite. The angle or the side next to it, hello friend, is adjacent. Okay, so it all depends on where that angle is, because you can see if our angle was here, this adjacent side would turn into our opposite side, but we're focusing on that angle. So this is our angle. Side opposite is the opposite side. The side adjacent is the adjacent side, the side next to it, not the side adjacent, right next to it. And the side opposite your 90-degree angle is always going to be that hippopotamus. Just kidding. Hypotenuse. No, that's okay. No problem. Cassandra, that has been my week because I drove to Minnesota on Monday. I took a nap on Tuesday when I got back. I got back at like 2 in the morning on Monday night. And I took a nap and I was 10 minutes late getting my son off the bus. So he was just sitting on the bus. I felt so bad. He was so mad at me. I don't blame him, you know. Anyway, so the side opposite that 90-degree angle is your hypotenuse. And that side will never change. The only sides that could change potentially, depending on where your angle of focus is, your theta, that's what this is. This is theta. We start getting into a lot of Greek letters here. So theta is a Greek letter. So we have opposite and adjacent. Those sides could change depending on which angle you're talking about. So, and then the trig functions, it's the sine, cosine, tangent. It's a button on your calculator. Oh, that stinks. It's gross. Not what we're talking about, but I get you. That's so gross. That would freak me out. But we have sine, cosine, tangent. These are the main trig functions. And you can, if you want to find like what measure the angle is, then you use the actual function on your calculator. Otherwise, they're just going to have you find the ratio. Say, what is the sine? And it'll be a fraction. So the sine of your angle is the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So if this was like a 3, 4, 5 triangle, our sine would be 3 over 4 because it's the opposite over the adjacent. And if I wanted to find the missing angle, I could figure it out using a calculation, which we'll talk about later. Cosine is your adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So for our 3, 4, 5 triangle, our cosine would be 4 over 5. And then tangent is the opposite over adjacent. There's a neat little saying to help you remember that. It's SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA is tangent is opposite over adjacent. SOHCAHTOA. So I write that on top of every single math trig assignment. That's what I would write. SOHCAHTOA, because it helps remember the ratios. And then these down here, these are the inverse functions. So they're the opposite of it. They're just the reciprocal. So this one, cosecant, is under sine because cosecant is the opposite of sine. This is Good, very good. Cosecant is the inverse of sine. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite. And I always remember that cosecant is the opposite of sine because it starts with the other letter. That's what I remember. Secant can't be the opposite of a sine because they both start with an S. You have to have an S and a C. That's how I remember it. Secant is the opposite of cosine. So if cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, secant is a hypotenuse over adjacent. And cotangent is the opposite of tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Cotangent is adjacent over opposite. So it just tells you how to set up the ratios. And the purpose of it is to solve for triangles. That's what it is. But before we solve for triangles, we need to know how to set up those ratios. So go ahead and get that written down, guys, because that is a super helpful slide. Once you are done, go ahead and here we go, put the less than symbol and the number 3 in chat. The less than symbol and the number 3. Give me love. I need love. No. Oh, you went to the next level there, Liana. Very good. Oh yeah, once we're done, we've got 12 of you. Oh, excuse my yawn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 hearts right now. 8, 9. Ooh, Nala lover. I like that. 9. Appreciate the love. That's the only reason I teach, is for love. It's like Michael Scott. I want them to fear how much they love me, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm seriously just kidding. Because I love Trick. That's what it is. I need like 3 more peeps. Who is it? Let's see. 3 more peeps. Dallas, are you still writing? And who else? Kaden, still writing? Or did they walk away? Oh, just kidding. Cassandra's had a busy morning. Oh no, she responded, I saw. Oh duh, it counts me in there. I just forgot about that. Okay. Beth, your facial expressions are the greatest. I love it. I love it. Ooh, I just got a weather notification. What's gonna happen in McWanago? Oh, this is for Dakota County. I still get notifications for Hastings. I'm so bummed. Oh, there's a thunderstorm. I'm so jealous. Oh, you Hastingsers. Okay. So, oh, why did I close my chat? There it is. Yeah. I think my daughter's eating out of the... Oh, that's cool. Kitty. Oh, my kitty wants to come and say hi. Kitty, you can do trig. Oh, no, she just grabbed me and started biting me. No, don't do that. There she is. Urgh. Tiger kitty. Oh, Kaden, I just asked if everybody was finished. Oh, apparently my cat's gonna teach now. Stop it. Hey there. Okay, so let's do the next one here. Okay, so this is about SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA helps you. Yeah, right. I need love. Give me love. I don't get it enough because this little thing bites me. No, I'm just kidding. She's teething. She loves to like flying leap and then start biting my sweatshirt. Is that what your kitten's doing, Beth? How's your kitten doing? Driving you nuts? Yes, I can stay on this slide. Yeah. SOHCAHTOA. Yeah, they're crazy. My dad calls this one Godzilla. Does he like pounce on your face? Yeah, that's what she does. She gets the zoomies and starts zooming around the bed. Yeah, that's what she does. That's what she's doing right now. She's biting me. See? She's gnawing on me. Why are you gnawing on me? Yeah. And then there's oh, now she's giving me kisses. It's okay. Yeah. My husband puts her in kitty timeout. He invented a timeout chair for her. Do you use a squirt bottle when he's being naughty, Beth? It's helpful. Oh yeah, they punch hard, don't they? They really do. Oh my gosh, especially those boys. They use their fists. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Allie, if you sent me a video of that, I would watch it. Just saying. Just saying. I would. Okay. So next slide. We're going to actually get into some. Okay. So in this one here, we want to find the sine of angle y. Now that is our clue. Yeah. The spray bottles help. She's going to investigate my daughter. She's being naughty. Okay, so the angle y gives us that clue of that angle that we're talking about. So what I would do is let's put our attention on angle y. And then from angle y, which number would be the opposite? Go ahead and type it in chat. Which number would be on the opposite side from angle y? Liana? 12, right, very good. And thank you for raising your hand, thank you. 12 is the opposite. That would mean that which side would then be adjacent? Someone else raised their hand. Who did? I need the participant list. Okay, keep stealing goldfish, that's okay. Beth, what do you think? Which side would be the...
Bam.
Hey, don't do that.
I can open that.
Oh, you want to open it? There, it's open. Okay, 5. Yep, exactly. 5 would be the adjacent side because it's this other straight up and down side that's right next to the opposite side. And that means that 13 is that hippopotamus, right, Allie? Hippopotamus or hypotenuse. Did she leave the session? She always threatens to leave if I ever say it. Oh my gosh, you're mommy boy. Kaden, your names. I love it. I knew it. I knew that was you who left. I knew it. Your house is shook. You guys are funny. Okay, so now we're going to set up the ratio. We want to find the sine, so we abbreviate it with sin, you know, but it means sine. Shook us to the core. So we're going to say sine of y, and we're going to set up the ratio. It's opposite, which is 12, over hypotenuse, which is 13. So that's my answer. Allie. Shocking. So that's the answer of that one. The sine of angle y is 12 over 13. And then if you have to simplify the fraction, do it. But in this case, we don't simplify it. And we don't leave it as a decimal. We leave it as a fraction. So now we want to kind of switch gears a little bit. We want to find the sine of angle x. So if we want to now change our focus The hypotenuse remains the same. But now we want to change our focus to the other side there. The other side there, sine of y, or of x now. So which side turns into our opposite? Which side turns into our opposite? Beth, what do you think? 5. Yeah, that's going to be our opposite side. And that means next to it is that adjacent. And let's say for a minute I forgot and it wasn't right here. Remember, we could write so, ka, toa. And then we're focusing on the so part. Kaden. So the sine of angle x there, it's going to be the opposite side, which is 5, over the hypotenuse slash hippopotamus. Oh no. She leave again. I shouldn't encourage that. It would be 5 out of 13. Yes. Very good. Sine of x is 5 out of 13. Hi, Casey. Hi, Allie. Hopefully that fixed your audio, Allie. That's all I was trying to do, right? Right? So, very good. Ignore my phone, sorry. All right, next slide. Okay, so now we want to do cosine, okay? So that would be if I wrote so, ka, toa, that'd be the ka. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so we're focusing on angle y. And my sides remain the same. 12 is the opposite. Adjacent is right next to it at that 5. And the hypotenuse is 13. So I'm going to write cosine of y equals, and it's going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Guys, go ahead and raise your hand. I know, Liana, you've had yours up. And give everybody else a chance. What do you guys think the ratio would be here for my cosine of y? It's got to be the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. Casey, what do you think? What do you think, Casey? Kaden. Love that. Okay. Liana, what do you think? Angle y, what would the cosine be? Yeah, it's going to be 5 out of 13 because my opposite side's 12, so adjacent is 5. And the hypotenuse is 13. So 5 out of 13. Oh, bummer. If tech. Okay, so now we're going to change gears and focus on angle x. So we're no longer focusing on angle y. So my sides shift, my hypotenuse stays the same. So if I focus on angle x, KC, which side is going to be my opposite side? Which number? 5, right. That's opposite. Okay. Oh, she left before I could type. Okay. So then, Beth, which side, what would our 12 be labeled then? adjacent, right. So cos of x is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So what would, Liana, what would that ratio be? This is angle x. We're focusing on angle x, remember. We want adjacent over hypotenuse. You just gave me the tangent. 12 out of 13. Yeah, adjacent over hypotenuse. 12 out of 13. Good. So go ahead and clear your hands off. Get rid of your hands. Aha. No, I'm just kidding. That's weird. So what I would do is I would label your triangle whenever you start this. I would label it. So now we're going to do tangent. So we're going to focus on angle y, tangent of y. So we'll focus on y. Y is our theta, our focus angle there. And I'm going to write, oh, I shouldn't write it in the blue. Please don't make a mess, little one, please. She is.
My goldfish.
Don't spill out your goldfish. SOHCAHTOA. Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, so tangent of angle y, I'm going to do opposite over adjacent. So here's my opposite side. It's straight across. Adjacent is right next to that side. And hypotenuse is that slanted side across from the 90. So what ratio, guys, raise your hand, tell me what ratio could represent the tangent of y, the opposite over the adjacent. Beth, what do you think? Oh, your mama boy had a hand up and then took it down. He'll get the next one. Beth, what do you think? The opposite side over the adjacent, 12 over 5. Very good. That's the tangent of y. Now we're going to switch gears to angle x. This is now my theta. I know you love outside time. Just give me a minute. Okay, so what is going to switch on my triangle here? Liana, what do you think? What's going to change if I'm focusing on what is 5/12? You're right, that's an answer to something. What does that represent? Oh, yay, allergies. Thank you. The opposite and x. Yeah, you're right. So 5 turns into the opposite and 12 turns into the adjacent. So the tangent of x is 5 over 12. Very good. Good stuff. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk, and I'm not torturing you with, go play on the, oh, I'm going to put a show on. Kaden, what are we doing? That's funny, Kaden. I like that. I'm gonna put on Captain Underpants for my daughter.
No.
What do you want to watch?
Super Monsters.
You already watched Super Monsters.
Super Monsters again.
You're a super monster.
No, yes, monster.
Okay. That one was really funny. Tra-la-la. Okay, so now we want to find secant. And now you don't need to memorize the secant and all that stuff, because let's say this wasn't here and we didn't know that. We could write our SOHCAHTOA. And then we got to ask ourselves, which one is secant the inverse of? So I'd put it here, but there's double S's. Can't have that. So it does not, it's not the opposite of sine. So then we'll try it. We could try it here just because I'm being silly and I know it's not. But the opposite of tangent is cotangent. So that one everybody kind of remembers. So it's got to be the opposite of cosine. So that helps you flip it. All right, guys, let's focus. Come on. So that helps you flip it. So secant is the inverse of cosine. So that means instead of adjacent over hypotenuse, it's hypotenuse over adjacent. That's it. So now they want to know the secant of 45. It does not matter which 45 you use because it's going to be the same. So we'll pick this 45. And secant is going to be the hypotenuse over the adjacent. Which side is the hypotenuse for that 45? Which side is the hypotenuse? Someone raise your hand and tell me. I like pumped. Good, good. Beth, which side's the hypotenuse? Oh, I missed it. Tyler got it. Beth, which side's the hypotenuse? Sorry, I was too busy paying attention to trig and not making rapper jokes, guys. Okay, so which side is that hypotenuse? Beth is thinking. The hippopotamus. Where is the hippopotamus? Always across from. The longer side, right. It's going to be the longest side. So it's going to be across from the 90. This is the hypotenuse. So for my secant of 45, I first Kaden, I tell ya. So the secant is going to be radical 2 x, okay? Because that's just what they're telling me for it. They just want the ratio. Then I need it over the adjacent. Which side for that 45 would be the adjacent? What do you think, Liana? Which side would be the adjacent? And it's kind of cool because if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter because both sides are the same. Right. The adjacent side is not the opposite. This is the opposite. So next to it would be the adjacent, but it would be x. And what do you guys think is going to happen to those x's? X over x. X is under the radical. No. Good question. Jana, this x is not under the radical. No, because remember our 45, 45, 90 format. That's a really good question. We have x, and technically we always say x radical 2. But this example, put it next to it. So no, that x is not under that. They x out. Yeah, they totally x out. So because it's not under the radical, it cancels with that x underneath. So we would say our final answer, the secant of 45, is the square root of 2. And if, let's say you typed this into Math Excel without simplifying it, when it tells you it's wrong, they actually actually tell you, like, your ratio's right, but you didn't simplify or something like that. So make sure you guys are reading that because it does tell you. Any questions on that one? Preguntas. Okay, guys, clear your hand raises because we're gonna need it for the next one. Okay, so the cosecant of 60, that's what we're going to do now. And remember, cosecant, here's my SOHCAHTOA. Oh, Not cat. I wrote cat. Cat's on the brain, I tell ya. Cosecant starts with a C, so it can't be opposite of cosine because we don't like repeated letters. So cosecant, we abbreviate it with CSC, is the inverse of sine. So instead of opposite over hypotenuse, it's hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, Kaden, your mama boy, make sure you are focusing. Kaden. So we want to find the cosecant of 60. Here's the 60. So we need, according to cosecant, we need the hypotenuse and the opposite. Which side is the hypotenuse in this one? Two X. Right, Tyler, you got it. Very good. Tyler's got to raise his hand. Beth did. No, I'm just kidding. Still good. He's got it. Very good. No problem. So this is the hypotenuse, that 2x. So that's going to go on top. Now we need the opposite. Which side is the opposite? Let's raise our hands for this one. Tyler. Yeah, go Tyler. The 90. Well, the 90 is opposite. Good. Yeah, you're right. The 90 is opposite the hypotenuse. But we want to know which side is opposite the 60. So we're looking for sides here. What do you think? Beth, what do you think, Beth? Which side would be our opposite side? That's not opposite. That would be adjacent. Beth is smart. This one's tricky. Beth is so smart. She is. She is. So this is our angle of focus here. And you know what? I probably confused you because I marked the 90. I shouldn't have done that. But what side is opposite? 3x with the thing. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. So 3x with the thing, the radical. This is our opposite. And our adjacent side is right next to it. And it's tough because you guys, we got to separate angles from sides. And then sometimes they want both of them. So it's confusing. I get you. So our opposite side is the radical 3x. And that x is not under the radical. And that's important because that's going to help us simplify it. It's okay. Okay, so now with our ratio here, you guys, what can I cancel out of that ratio? Leanna, what can I cancel out of that ratio? Tyler, cracking me up. What can I cancel there? The x's, yeah. So then my ratio turns down to this. But this is, uh-oh. We don't like that radical. That radical in the denominator is scary. So we got to rationalize it. Does anybody remember what we do to rationalize it? 2 over root 3. Yeah, you're right. We have to multiply times radical 3. You're totally right, Beth. Very good. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 3. So our new answer becomes 2 radical 3 over, and what's radical 3 times radical 3? What would that be? Tyler? Radical 9. You are right. And what is radical 9? What does that simplify to? 3. Good job, guys. Nice. So our final answer becomes 2 radical 3 over 3. That is the cosecant of 60. Very good. Leanna, any questions? Oh, just a hand raised still. Okay, cool. Moving on, because we got lots to do. Cotangent now. Now let's do cotangent. Cotangent has the word in it, tangent, right? So cotangent is the opposite of tangent, and tangent is toa. If you do your SOHCAHTOA, and if cotangent, I forgot how they do that. I think they just write cotan. Cotangent is the opposite of tangent. So instead of opposite over adjacent, we're going to do adjacent over opposite. And they want a 45. So let's focus on this 45 for a change. We'll do that one, even though it's not going to matter. So cotan of the 45, it's going to be adjacent over the opposite. Someone raise your hand and tell me, what am I going to put over what? What over what? Adjacent over opposite. Remember, now we're thinking sides. So we're only focusing on the sides. The angles just tell us what side we're looking at right now. That's it. So what do you think? If we got our names in there, so this is the opposite side. Right next to it would be adjacent. And the hypotenuse is always across from that 90. Oh my. What do you think? Let's get lots of hands here. Lots of hands. I'm greedy for hands today. Sounds weird, but I am. Give me that. That's so weird. Don't do that. My daughter's a pterodactyl. Leave Kitty alone. Kitty's sleeping. All right, Liana, what do you think? No, don't hit the kitty. Stop. Sorry. The right X and the bottom X. You are correct, madam. So we would have just the X's over the X's. What do you guys think? No, too rough. What do you guys think that's going to simplify to? Someone raise your hand for cotan 45. What's that going to simplify to? X over X.
I do first shots.
Beth, what do you think? X or just one? Yeah, you're right. Because it's the same over the same, so it's almost like they cancel each other out, but they're still there. So X, anything divided by itself is always 1. Even if it's like smiley face divided by smiley face, you would still get 1. Because anything over the same thing gives you 1. Sorry, I'm trying to yell at my daughter. Toes. I'm warm in here. I'm like sweating. Okay, so if we want to find the missing side of a triangle using trig, this is kind of our process, okay? And we got to go through this. We're running a little short on time. That's okay. I can always continue and put it on Moodle. So the first step is you're going to find the angle you are going to work with, not the 90. So we never use the 90. We never say the sine of 90. We're not going to do that for these. Then figure out what sides you have in relation to the angle. So figure out what sides they give you. Set up a trig equation, which I'll show you using SOHCAHTOA, and then cross multiply to solve. That's it. Those are the steps. And just in the interest of time and wanting to show you an example, I'm going to scooch it forward. If you want to get those steps down, please check on Moodle. Okay, so this is what we need. We need to solve for the x of this triangle. Okay? So now we're going to say, what angle are they giving us? They're giving us this 25. This is our theta. This is where we focus. So we're going to say, according to that 25, what sides am I given? So I'm going to go straight across to check if I have something there for opposite. Oh, I do. I have an opposite. It's the x, but it still counts. Then I'm going to look next door to the adjacent. There's nothing there. So I don't have an adjacent. So every trig function that has an adjacent, I can cross it out because I know I'm not going to be able to use it. And then lastly, we have a hypotenuse. So that only leaves the sine. Yep, you're right. That only leaves sine. So I'm going to start by going sine of 25 equals opposite, which is my x, over hypotenuse, which is my 41. I need so, yep. So now you can think of it any way. You can change this into a proportion by putting this over 1. Or you can say, how do we get rid of dividing by 41? We multiply by 41. And then that cancels out there. So x is equal to 41 times the sine of 25. That's okay, no problem. I'm going to put a continual video on Moodle. I'll do that today. So then we're going to go into Desmos and we're going to type that in. So I'll bring Desmos over. Desmos, there it is. Here's my Desmos. So in Desmos, I'm just going to type in, I'm in degree mode, so I'm good. I'm going to type in 41 sine 25. Enter. And that tells me that my x side is 17.33, we would round to. So my x side there, so x is 17.3. Yeah, that's it. So there's obviously more that I have to show you. I have to show you how to go back and find angles, how to find that. I took a little too long here, but that's okay. There's only 20 slides. So I have 5 slides left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this one and then I'll put it on Moodle and then I'll make a follow-up Zoom and I'll put it right under that. So on Moodle for our week, you'll see the live session and then the follow-up live session. And in the follow-up live session, I'll go through some homework questions just to make it worth your while. Okie dokie. Sounds like a plan. Well, you guys enjoy your lovely weather. And I